But, and the biggest but here is that that's never happened in the history of man. Over the last week or so, I've gotten several DMs on Instagram to respond to this video that is about the anabolic diet. So I am here today to do so. I'm going to go over what they say, what I think is correct, what is incorrect, and what might be misinterpreted a little bit, and use a little bit of science to back up what I'm saying. My name is Nick, or Exercise for Cheat Meals, where I make anabolic recipes and review anabolic recipes, but I also have my bachelor's in exercise science and master's in exercise physiology, so I know the science as well, and that's what I want to go over today. So if you like this kind of content, or you like the recipes as well, please subscribe and like this video. To start off, this was posted about a week ago by Mind Pump Podcast. I have never heard of Mind Pump Podcast before this, and I haven't watched any videos since this video, so I'm solely basing my opinions based on what is said in this video. From what it sounds like, they're just going off of what the viewer is saying and asking about the anabolic diet, and I'm not too sure they know what this anabolic current state of diet is, because I know that there was a diet like 20 years ago or 25 years ago made by somebody else that had a little bit different of a definition of what the current anabolic diet is. But let's get into what the viewer has to say and what he asked.
Hi, I was just curious if you had any insight on these anabolic diets from these YouTube personalities. And basically the idea is to create low calorie dense foods using a lot of protein powder and then a lot of added artificial sweeteners and sugars. Go low calorie on everything. It doesn't matter. If you want bread, go with the lowest calorie bread.
Now, by the way the viewer described it and asked this question, it does kind of sound like the diet isn't that great. All low calorie everything, artificial sweeteners galore, only protein powders. So that begs the question, what is the anabolic diet? Now, I think that this is different for everybody. Here is my definition. It is about 3 to 5 meals per day of about 20 to 50-ish grams of protein per meal, while also being able to eat the things that you love, just a lower calorie version of it that is sustainable because you are still eating all the things that you love and not having to neglect anything. Pretty much there are no rules as long as you're meeting your calorie goal and protein goal every single day, all in fiber as well.
It's funny they call it anabolic and then they tell you to go super, super low calorie, which is going to be catabolic.
Yes. How they're using the definition of low calorie is different than how we're using the definition of low calorie. When they say low calorie, they are thinking that we mean that overall, at the end of the day, your calories should be super low so that you're in a huge calorie deficit to lose weight. While we are saying for every ingredient you choose, if there's a lower calorie option, try and choose the lower calorie option. So when you put all of the ingredients together and you chose all these lower calorie options, the meal will still be super tasty, but will be much lower calorie than its counterpart. And of course, it'll still be high in volume. As an anabolic community, we are not saying that you should be eating super low calorie like 600 or 800 or 1,000 calories per day. I think that it's definitely not good to be losing weight too fast and be in a huge deficit for many reasons. What my recommendation is to lose 0.5% to 1% of your body weight every week. So if you're 200 pounds, that's 1 to 2 pounds per week. So if you can maintain your weight at 3,000 calories, that would mean you can still eat between 2,000 and 2,500 calories per day to meet those requirements to lose the weight that you need. And if you're choosing the lower calorie options, you will still be able to eat a lot of food multiple times a day and get to your goals while enjoying all of that food at the same time.
No, that's all gimmicks and jargon used to just sell people on, stupid ideas, books or supplements. I'm sure they're probably selling something to people.
Are they selling something? Yes, but they're not selling something and being dishonest. They're not selling something that doesn't work. If you expend more calories than you take in, you're going to lose weight regardless. And these recipes help you do so. These programs will help you do so.
Anabolic diet, look, if you're eating in a calorie surplus, if your protein intake is relatively high, and you also are
training, you're anabolic.
Aside from that, no, that's complete.
Not only is it
that statement is correct. If you are in a calorie surplus while eating enough protein and training correctly, you will gain muscle. However, you can also maintain your muscle, if not gain muscle, while also in a maintenance amount of calories. Will you gain more while being in a surplus? Yes. On top of all of it, you can gain muscle while in a deficit. Usually that happens with beginners or untrained people, but it could also happen in trained people as well. Most of the time this happens when you are eating protein throughout the day and when you're doing resistance training several times a week.
Not only that, it's bullshit too, because you're either anabolic or catabolic, always. You're one or the other. And if you're in a low calorie diet, you're catabolic.
And just because you are technically catabolic doesn't mean that you are breaking down your muscle tissue. You can also be catabolic and breaking down your fat tissue as well. Catabolism is just the breaking down of, anabolism is the building up of. Now let's look at a couple studies. This study looked at two groups. One was trying to lose weight slowly, while one was trying to lose weight a little bit quicker. So a smaller calorie deficit versus a larger calorie deficit. What the study showed was there was no difference in fat mass that was lost between the slower rate and the faster rate. However, the slower rate actually gained some lean body mass, while the other didn't lose any lean body mass, but didn't gain any lean body mass either. AKA, they didn't lose or gain any muscle at all. So it is possible to gain muscle or to keep your muscle even when in a calorie deficit. In the second study, they had a group that was trying to lose 2 pounds per week or a group that was trying to lose about 1 pound per week. At the end of the study, they both didn't lose any lean body mass or muscle, but they both lost a significant amount of fat. This is a 4-week study, so it's not that long, but it is showing that when you do lose weight, you can lose weight without losing muscle. To conclude, a review of many studies showed that if you eat more than the recommended daily amount of protein, that it shows that when you are losing weight, it can offset the losses in muscle mass that are seen when you're not eating as much protein, which is why I do love the anabolic diet. Now, this is not to say that you can't lose muscle while on a cut. That can definitely happen. Now, when does this normally happen? When people are super lean and they don't have a lot of body fat to lose in the first place, or when they've been on a 16-week, 20-week, a very long cut. Eventually, you are going to lose some muscle, but you can offset that with the choices that you have when you exercise and when you go to the kitchen and make your meals throughout the day.
A person who weighs 100 pounds, who has 10 pounds of body fat on their body, is 10% body fat. If that person loses 10 pounds of muscle, their body fat percentage now went up because they still have 10 pounds of body fat on a now 90-pound body.
Okay. So that is true. If you take a 100-pound person and they lose 10 pounds of muscle and no fat, their body fat percentage does go up. But, and the biggest but here is that's never happened in the history of man. There's no study, there's no evidence, there's nothing to ever show that someone has lost 10 pounds being on a 0-calorie diet and lost it all from muscle. Nothing has shown that. On average, people lose about 25% of their weight from their muscle and 75% from fat. Okay? Even being on a very low calorie diet, it has only shown 25% when looking at all of the studies and analyzing all of the studies. The average is 25% of your body weight is lost from muscle. And if we look at this chart here, it shows us that every diet, the very low calorie diet, the low carb diet, the low fat diet, the high fiber diet, every single one of them has lost 25% muscle and 75% fat. But guess what? When they look at the high protein diet, only 10% of the weight loss was from muscle. 90% of it was from fat. I wanted to try to be as extreme as possible, so we are going to look at a study where participants ate for almost 4 months only 600 to 800 calories per day, and they wanted to see how much weight they lost in general, but also from lean body mass and from their fat mass. At the end of the 4 months, the participants lost an average of 44 pounds of weight. 36 pounds coming from fat, 8 pounds coming from muscle. And they were only eating 600 to 800 calories every single day for most of the study. This means that they only lost 18% of their total mass from muscle. 82% was still from fat, and they lost over 40 pounds of weight on a very low calorie diet. Now, I will say, if you lose all of this weight and you lose the muscle and then you gain all that weight back, you're not gonna gain nearly as much weight back in muscle. So your body fat would technically go up if you do gain that weight back. However, just simply off losing the weight, you will not lose as much muscle as you think you will if you are on a lower calorie diet.
If you're trying to get long-term sustainable results, you want a faster metabolism, you want to get leaner, build more muscle, I would stay as far away from those things as possible.
I know he's making a general statement about all of these fad diets and about a lot of the BS that's out there, and typically I would agree. But as far as the anabolic diet goes, I would argue that this is the most sustainable diet that there is out there. Ever. Nothing is off limits. Moderation is okay with everything. If you want to go on a date night, if you want to go have some Ben & Jerry's, if you want to go order some carry out, that's all okay. Include it in your calories. If you do happen to go over your calories the next day, lower your calories down and make up for it. That simple. And on top of it all, I get to eat the things that I love every day anyway. My last 2 months, I've been eating cookie dough, pizza, crunch wraps, and ice cream. What more can you ask for? Honestly.
Yeah, I would say easily 90% of the information that's put out by the fitness industry at large, the diet industry at large, and even the wellness industry at large, a good 90% of it is totally wrong.
I totally agree. I think that 90% of what is put out is pretty much not good information. This is one of the few things that is going to work for you because it's based all around one principle: calories in, calories out, thermodynamics. You can't argue with science. It's as simple as that. This has been working for so many people. I've gotten so many messages in my direct messages. I've gotten so many comments. I've been able to lose this weight and keep it off, and I'm still doing the diet because it doesn't feel like a diet to me. And this is not a 12-week diet. This is a rest of your life diet. I am starting my online coaching business soon, so if you want more information, please DM me on Instagram or email me. The information is in the description below, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. But until next time, I will see you in that next one. Deuces.